Imagine a screen icon from blockbuster hits like Star Wars and Indiana Jones labeling a sitting US president as one of history's most notorious villains, all because of reckless environmental decisions. That's the shocking reality behind Harrison Ford's fiery condemnation of Donald Trump's approach to climate change, and it's a wake-up call that could change how we view leadership in the face of global warming. Intrigued? Let's dive into the details of this celebrity showdown with planetary stakes. Harrison Ford, the ever-versatile actor who's brought characters like Han Solo and Indiana Jones to life, pulled no punches in his interview with The Guardian. At 83, he's long been a passionate defender of our planet, and Trump's relentless pushback against climate protections has him deeply alarmed. Trump's attack on efforts to tackle the climate crisis absolutely terrifies me, Ford declared, going so far as to call the president one of the worst criminals humanity has ever seen. It's a bold accusation, especially from someone who's witnessed the entertainment industry's glitz while championing real-world causes. But here's where it gets controversial. Ford doesn't mince words about Trump's style of governance. He doesn't have actual policies, he acts on fleeting impulses, the actor explained. The sheer stupidity, arrogance, deceit, and betrayal involved scare me senseless. Trump understands the truth, yet he serves as a tool for maintaining the current system, raking in profits while the planet spirals into chaos. Ford's not just venting, he's pointing to what he sees as a deliberate obstruction of progress. And this is the part most people miss. Behind the Hollywood drama, Ford's highlighting how personal gain can eclipse collective survival. Ford, whose iconic roles have entertained millions, emphasized how unbelievable Trump's actions are. "I can't think of a bigger offender throughout history," he added, underscoring his frustration with a leader who seems to prioritize short-term wins over long-term human welfare. For beginners trying to grasp this, think of it like this: climate policies are like safety nets for our shared home, ditching them is like ignoring a house fire to chase a quick buck. During his second term, Trump has aggressively dismantled safeguards that were put in place to protect the environment. His rolled-back rules on clean air quality, effectively allowing more pollution to harm our skies and health. He's also put the brakes on renewable energy initiatives, like wind and solar projects that could power our future without poisoning it. Instead, he's cheered on fossil fuel giants to drill, baby, drill, ramping up the very oil and gas extractions that scientists warn are fueling Earth's overheating. To add insult to injury, he's dismissed hundreds of expert scientists from agencies like NOAA, erasing their research and findings. And get this, he's even forbidden government workers from using terms like climate change or emissions, as if banning words could erase the problem itself. It's like pretending a storm isn't brewing by ignoring weather reports. Trump's moves extend beyond US borders too. He's pulled America out of the Paris Agreement, a global pact where nations agreed to curb greenhouse gases and limit warming to safer levels. Imagine a team sport where one player quits mid-game, leaving everyone else scrambling. He's also pressured allies like the UK to demolish their wind farms, which he dismisses as unsightly, and pushed them toward more drilling. Meanwhile, he's demanded that the European Union weaken its environmental standards and buy up more American oil and gas, essentially exporting our planet heating habits overseas. In a speech at the United Nations last month, Trump doubled down, calling climate change the biggest hoax ever pulled on the world. He urged nations to ditch green scams and focus on strong borders and traditional energy to reclaim greatness. It's a stance that pits economic nationalism against scientific consensus, and one that Ford blasts as pure ignorance. The actor quipped that Trump's hatred for wind turbines stems from his not having spotted a golden one yet, a witty jab at superficial judgments. Ford predicts Trump's climate legacy will be marked by blatant stupidity, overconfidence, and calculated deception, a harsh verdict that invites debate on whether political theater trumps factual responsibility. But here's where it gets even more provocative. Ford's words challenge us to question the true cost of ignoring climate science. Is prioritizing fossil fuels and profits really making America great again, or is it dooming us all? As a lifelong environmental champion, honored by groups like Conservation International and the Environmental Hall of Fame, Ford knows the stakes. He's not just a celebrity weighing in, he's someone who's seen the science unfold firsthand. Sadly, the world, including the US as a top carbon emitter, is falling short on cutting emissions to prevent catastrophes. Just this week, Jamaica endured a Category 5 hurricane, Hurricane Melissa, which experts link to warmer oceans and air intensified by global heating. It's a painful reminder, extreme weather isn't random, it's exacerbated by human actions. Earlier this year, Ford himself fled massive wildfires ravaging Los Angeles, fires made more probable by rising temperatures. While his Brentwood home survived, others, including fellow stars like Billy Crystal and Carey Elwes, weren't so lucky. And it's not just dramatic events. A new study revealed that heat waves are now claiming 1 life per minute worldwide, a silent epidemic creeping up on us. Ford, who's been warning about this for 3 decades, isn't surprised. "I saw it coming and have been advocating for action all this time," he said. "Every prediction about climate change has become reality. Why hasn't that spurred people to alter their ways? Blame the powerful interests protecting the status quo." Yet, despite the gloom, Ford sees hope. Renewable energy is gaining traction, though not fast enough to outpace worsening impacts. He believes Trump's oil-centric agenda won't triumph. He's losing support because his claims are fabrications, Ford asserted confidently. "I'm optimistic we can lessen the damage, giving ourselves time to shift habits, innovate technologies, and enforce effective strategies. We just need the political courage and wisdom to acknowledge our capacity for transformation. Humans are remarkably adaptable and creative. When we focus on a challenge, we often solve it." It's an empowering message, like a pep talk from a wise mentor, reminding us that change is possible if we unite. Ford shared these thoughts just before receiving a Conservation Leadership Award at Chicago's Field Museum, presented by the foundation of the late biologist E.O. Wilson, who invented the term biodiversity. Wilson, an ant expert, bonded with Ford over environmental efforts and even named an ant species after him, a fun fact that shows how passion for nature can bridge worlds. Wilson's vision of preserving half the planet for wildlife to halt species extinction continues through his foundation, with Ford as a supporter. Globally, over 100 nations have committed to protecting 30% of land and oceans by 2030, a step forward, but a recent foundation report notes we're only halfway there. "We're on the brink," Ford warned about nature's decline from deforestation, pollution, and other destructions. Indigenous communities, guardians of vast remaining forests, hold the key to saving these vital areas. Research confirms their value, yet threats persist, and protections remain fragile in many places. This ties back to broader climate fights, as healthy ecosystems act like natural buffers against disasters. In wrapping up, Ford's critique forces us to confront uncomfortable truths. Is Trump's dismissal of climate science a crime against humanity, or just tough politics? Do you side with Ford's fiery stance, or see merit in Trump's push for traditional energy? And here's a thought-provoking twist: could prioritizing economic growth over environmental warnings actually be the scam that harms us all? Share your views in the comments. Let's discuss whether celebrity outrage can drive real change, or if it's just noise in a divided world.